Hello and welcome to this pick a card reading. This should be interesting. So the question for this reading is, what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? So obviously this time of the year and other times of the year, in the wheel of the year, the veil is, I would say, pretty much non-existent. So messages from spirit, from your guides, from your ancestors, from deity, they come through a lot easier. Um, so yeah, and this question has actually been inspired by a lady who teaches lenormand, Emily Rose. So this question has been inspired by a drop-in divination that I attended last Sunday. So as it's this time of year, definitely think about your ancestors, the people whose shoulders we have all stood upon to get us to where we are right now. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on with it. So, the choices for your piles. We have pile number 1. This is Persephone, growth. Number 48. Pile number 1, that is. Pile number 2 is number 41, Hecate's wheel and cycles. See if I can adjust that light a little bit. It's a bit better. It's actually better there. So that's pile number 2. Pile number 3 is number 25. I can read this. Queen of Witches, sovereignty. I'm not even going to try and pronounce I think that's Greek. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Beautiful card. And then pile number 4, number 42, Aconite and death, which is very pertinent for this time in the wheel of the year. So, take a breath, choose your pile, and I will see you in your pile. Thank you. Hello, pile number 1. So your card is the card Persephone and growth. So let's have a look at the cards. So there's lots of symbology on this card straight off the bat. Okay, so we have obviously the Persephone and her story, a bit like the story of Ishtar in Nana. It's the same story spanned over different pantheons. So we have the descent into the underworld, albeit not of their own volition. And in that process, when they come back, they inspire. So when they enter the underworld, there is the death, which is what we see out in nature. Yeah, we see things retreat. Yeah, so nature, it's not that things aren't dying. Yeah, things are retreating to regroup and then come forth in the spring. What I will say is, if you pay attention to nature, already you will see, even as leaves are falling and it looks like things are dying, there is already new growth appearing, but it's slow. It's like everything slows down. Yeah. So there is growth. There is growth in the depths of what we would call death or winter. Yeah. Which kind of is what this kind of shows on this card. So you've got the journey from on the right hand side of the card, we have the kind of autumnal winter kind of colors and symbology, and then we move into the growth period, the spring, which is quite amazing. The pomegranate, big symbol of the underworld, yeah. And if you cut a pomegranate in a certain way, it actually looks like the inside of a heart. It's quite amazing. It doesn't really show it that well on this picture, but if you cut it in a certain way, you can see that. It's quite interesting. Also, the pomegranate corresponds to the root chakra. So your root chakra is all about stability, security, which is what you need for growth. Yeah, even the color of the pomegranate. Yeah, that ruby red is very root chakra orientated. Okay, so I'm going to grab some lenormand cards. Let's see what they have to say. So what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? What guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain for pile number 1? Okay, interesting. One more card, please. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So we've got a male energy, that's action. Okay. So we have the man, the birds, and the compass. Now that's interesting. Why is that interesting? Because the compass shows the way. So the first layer message from your ancestor, or ancestors, plural, for Samhain, is that as you're walking this path of growth, whether you choose to walk the underworld path or not, it's entirely up to you. As witches and pagans, we kind of embrace that, because outside is showing you that there's an increase in darkness. Yeah. So through this journey, you are being guided, you're being communicated with. That's the birds right there. You are being guided through that communication with your actions. So your actions, yeah, are being guided via the communications with your ancestors. Okay. Okay, so let's grab, we've got to bring these in, the Halloween Oracle, which I love these cards, by Stacey DeMarco. They are really nice cards. I do enjoy her decks, actually. I've got a couple of her other decks, and they're just really nice to work with. There we go. Is that 2? We have 2 cards. Let's have a look. See what we can see. Midnight. And the Half. Wow. That's very cool. Shadow there. Sorry. And the Half. Very cool. So the midnight card, underneath it says the most magical hour of all. And then the half, happiness in our hearts and homes. So the message here, as you are being guided through communications from your ancestors, in your actions, you might find the best time for that communication is midnight or just after midnight. Yeah. Fire could be another way that they communicate. So this could be in different ways. So if you have a some kind of open fire, you can words. You can actually use fire for divination purposes. What you can do, this is really cool actually. If you have a camera that can take really detailed photos of fire, but as a, what do they call that? Like one shot quickly after the next. And I've done this myself. When we've been camping, we've had a campfire. I will take loads of shots all in a row, and you'll be surprised at what comes through the flames. Yeah, faces, all sorts. If you don't have an open fire, you can always have a fire in your garden. You could also use candles. The way to use candles, sorry, I meant to mute my phone, I forgot. So the way you can use candles, you can either do candle gazing, yeah, or you can let the candle pull wax and then read from that. They will all your ancestors. Get my words out today. Your ancestors will guide you, yeah, in how they want to bring these messages forward for you. Other ways is using incense. One's only gone out now. But you can get messages in the smoke of the incense. Yeah. And for any of those, you want to get yourself into like a meditative state beforehand. Yeah. But like I say, midnight or after midnight will be the most potent time for those messages. Okay. So, is there anything else? I'm just going to read from, which one is it? That's the Hecatean Oracle of the Hecatean Path, number 48, just in case there's anything else which we need to know about that card. 48. Get it under the light so I can read it. We may struggle to accept the inevitable changes life throws at us. Torn from the sun and sky, then plunged into the hard dark of the underworld, Kor gradually accepted her new life and became Persephone, queen of the underworld, no longer meek and innocent, but capable of mature diplomacy and facing harsh realities. Like a seed, she sprouts and grows to bloom, then withers and descends to rise once more. So there we go. So, is there anything extra that we need to know about this communication, about your path of growth through the underworld? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of cards from this deck. This is the Wisdom of Avalon. So what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? So okay, we'll take those. Thank you. And I'm also going to grab a card from this deck. This is the deck is this Citadel. So what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? Okay. Right. Interesting. So we've got four of these cards here. 5 actually. So we've got the Stag, Leadership. These are the animal guides of Avalon. Interesting. So yeah, Leadership. We have the Grail Knight. This is the writing is tiny. Messengers of Avalon. So this is Romance, Illusion, Seeking the Sacred. Wow. That's very cool. I like that. So this journey through the underworld is a sacred journey. 100%. And I would say the Stag is a representation of the ancestor that is guiding you through that journey. Oh, wow. The butterfly. So it says beauty on this card, but the butterfly is also transformation, and no small transformation either. So this journey that you're on, being guided through the underworld, led by your ancestor, I think is definitely represented by the stag there. Communication, there we go. This is the Sacred Journey Masters, I think it says. I cannot read that. The writing on these cards sometimes is indistinguishable from the background. But communication. So that confirms that they are communicating with you. Yeah, and I would say in a very strong way, because we've had 2 cards now that say communication and partnership. There we go. There we go. Okay. Get that too. Ooh. I don't know. But it says partnership. The Sacred Journey markers. Sacred Journey markers. There we go. So as you are on this journey, they will continue to communicate with you through your transformational journey, yeah, as you are seeking the sacred. There's pure magic here, guys. Pure magic, yeah. And it's in partnership, yeah. Right, this last card, the Warrior. Oh, wow. That is very cool. That's a very cool card. So as you are walking the underworld, also know you are protected. Yeah. My suggestion is, because the hearth would also represent your light, your inner light, yeah, which is what we see on this warrior card. For me, that's light emanating, yeah, and you could even surmise that that's the light emanating from your solar plexus. There are actually there are photos. I mean, you can Google this of armor that was solely for the solar plexus, yeah, because it's slightly more vulnerable in that area to, you know, sharp things. um, and some of the metalwork on the solar plexus armor is of the sun. So that's kind of what reminded me of this right here. Yeah. So you are protected as you are walking this journey. And that is not only protected by your ancestors, but protected by your own inner light. I did a reading. Oh, when was that? That was on my radio show. And it was talking about a way to activate your light. So it actually becomes like a cloak of, I can't remember what the card said, but it was essentially invisibility. Yeah, which is quite phenomenal. So I would say this is actually like a thread from that reading that's come through right here. Okay, is there anything else that we need to know? I think I'm going to take, okay, one last card from the Witch's something. What's it called? Witch's Wisdom. These are quite cute, these cards. Quite like them. Last card. One card, please. Thank you very much. There we go. Initiation. Spirit. Initiation. There you go. Confirmation from your ancestors right there that this is an initiation. Yeah. An initiation via spirit, via your ancestors. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Yeah. I look forward to seeing you next time. And if you want to check out one of the other piles, feel free. And yeah, I will see you next time. Cheerio. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So, you chose Hecate's Wheel. I'm not going to show it to you just yet because I've got a little surprise for you. I'm just going to read from the book. So, Hecate's Wheel, cycles. The Wheel of Hekate evokes motion and serpentine energy. She is connected with snakes. Our paths are not linear, they are repetitive, and we sometimes lose our direction, causing us to retrace already familiar ground. The serpentine energy of the wheel can usher in transformation, allowing you to shed the old like a snake sheds its skin. What habits do you need to break? What messages do you need to take heed of? What lessons do you need to learn? So the question was, what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? This is definitely going to be around cycles and habits. So, the little surprise I've got for you. Let me show you. So this is Hecate's Wheel. Okay, that's the card. Quite beautiful. And this is what it looks like. Hecate's Wheel. This is one I created quite some time ago now. So I'm going to leave that there and pull the cards on the wheel. So let's bring that down a bit. There we go. Hecate's Wheel, cycles. Okie dokie. So I'm going to pull. I think I'm going to use some kippers in this one. So let's pull a few kipper cards. No, that's ridiculous. That's definitely a spill. We have got a house card. That's going under there, is it? Okay, thank you. So, what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? For pile number 2, ooh, there we go. High honor. Okay. What else? Ooh, there we go. Ooh, wow. Whoop, what are we doing there? Okay. Ooh, okie dokie. So, high honor. Distant horizons. That one's going under there, is it? Okie dokie. So the cycles, this is interesting. So we have house. Either side of the wheel, we have high honor. And we have distant horizons. Very interesting. Okay, and then underneath the house, we have occupation. So, okay, so it's already, okay. So, the cycles to break will definitely be around a living situation and your work. So, it might be that you are being shown something by your ancestors around, it might even be that your work situation is married to where you live, because that still happens, yeah. So you're being shown a cycle by your ancestors to do with your where you live being tied to your work, yeah. Okay, so the high honors card, so we've got either side of those cycles, of this particular cycle, you've got high honor and distant horizons. So whatever this work living situation cycle is full stop, you were held in very high regard when it comes to this, you know, your work coming being married to where you live. Yeah, does that make sense? But this cycle is about to be broken, and you are literally there the anchor is broken. Yeah, the anchor is broken and you're going to be setting sail. So let's find out. Let's go with the crow, urban crow. Let's find out about this distant horizons. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okie dokie. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Oh, we've got loads of cards here. Goodness me. Okay. So we have, first of all, we have the grief card. Interesting. So this will be the loss of this situation. But let's find out more about that. Let's find out more about how that works. Distance. Okay. Interesting. So this corresponds to distant horizons right there. Upheaval. So I would say this is almost like a tower card. So there'll be something going on. You're being shown by your ancestors, yeah, a situation that they'll be guiding you to it, but also through it. Yeah, if that makes sense. Illusions. There's definitely something going on in this work living situation. Just let's just move those up a little bit. Bloop. Okay, insight like that. So they'll be giving you insights into this situation, but also how to move through it. Perspective, there we go, right there. Yeah, that's that side. Waterproof. Yeah, you are waterproof. I like that. That one's going to go here, I think. This is interesting. So this cycle, which is being broken. Okay, so this work situation that came with a home, yeah, which you were very highly regarded in your occupation, yeah. But there's definitely been something going on in that work situation. A loss of something, upheaval, like the Tower card. And I would suggest that you are being shown an illusion, or seeing through the veil. So this is this time of year, yeah. This is why you're being shown it now. This is why your ancestors are sending you this now, because you will be able to see through that veil, through the illusion, a lot easier. So when I say illusion, let's just see if this, I just want to check something and see if a particular card comes out of this deck. Okay, that's the heart. It's not the card I was expecting, but this would be to do with what you are actually passionate about. So although this was a very rewarding occupation, and you were held in high regard, in that sense, I think you're being guided to follow your heart, because whatever this situation was, you weren't following your heart. So the distant horizons. So once you break that chain and you get some distance, yeah, you get those insights. You actually take on board those insights that your ancestors are showing you. You get a new perspective. Boom. You become waterproof. Yeah. Let me just see what it says about that card, because that is such a cool card. Let me just grab the right at the bottom. Of course it is. Okay, let's have a look. Number 53. Oh, actual big writing. I like that. Waterproof. Okay. It says, crow feathers have a greasy protective coating that prevents water from getting through to the skin. You too have the ability to create a waterproof exterior. When we are waterproof, we are protected from others' draining emotions that can weigh us down. Okay, that goes back to the heart card then. So when you actually follow your heart and listen to the guidance from your ancestors, that's what makes you waterproof. There we go. When we are waterproof, the words, actions, and emotions of those around us do not impact our perception or perspective of who we are or our self-worth. Casual insults, snarky comments, and emotional vampires don't bother someone who is waterproof. Interesting, because you've got all these kind of the grief, the upheaval, the illusion. Interesting. So this could have actually been related to a person at your work. Being dragged into someone else's drama can take an emotional toll and leave you feeling waterlogged, or bedraggled is another really cool word. But when you are waterproof, you can be a good listener. You can hold space better, I would say. And that is definitely to do with coming from your heart center. Be a good listener and a shoulder to cry on without absorbing their emotions, leaving you free to support others in need. Waterproof asks you to create a barrier between the feelings of others and yourself when inner strength is needed. Okay. Is there anything else? I don't think. Okay, one more card. We have to take one from the Samhain Oracle. We have to. It's mandatory, you know. Let's see. What guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? Just one card, please, if possible. Right, that's a spill, so we're not going to take those. Thank you. That's ridiculous. Okay. There we go. That one. Dawn. Oh, wow. The light after the darkness. There we go. I love that. Oh, put the right camera on. There we go. The light after the darkness. So, as you're walking this journey, there's that incense just getting a bit crazy. After walking through the darkness, the underworld, and you come out the other side. So even in this card here, we have the sunrise. How cool is that? In the distant horizons card, we have the sun coming up. And I love this in the insight card. You've got fairy lights. And there we go. You're waterproof and you see the light after the darkness. So you're definitely being guided through whatever this is here by your ancestors. Don't forget to listen. Yeah. And you're definitely being guided to follow your heart, follow your passion. Yeah. And whatever all this was to do with your work and your living situation. Once you break that cycle, there's then all these amazing things that start falling into place. I love that. Okay. I'm going to leave it here. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I've certainly enjoyed it. It's very cool. If you want to check out any of the other piles, feel free to do so. Yeah. So until the next time, I'm going to say cheerio. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose Queen of Witches, Sovereignty. Beautiful card. Love this card. So I'm just going to read from the book. It's number 25, so that could be significant for you. Number 25. Okay. Queen of Witches, Sovereignty. Whether we walk our path alone or join others, we become our own priests and priestesses. Your power is your own personal and individual relationship with the realm of spirit and the divine. So what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain? I'd say that's your individual relationship with spirit and your divine self. Yeah. Your individual relationship with Hecate is the most important aspect of walking your path. All roads lead to Rome, but we are all coming from different places. Aid the journey of others if you are moved or inspired to. That said, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. So yeah, this is definitely around your own individual relationship with spirit, with your ancestors, ancient ancestors or recently past, and with your own divine self, your own divine sovereign self. Okay, so let's grab some lenormand cards. Let's just put these around the right way. Okay, so what guidance was to come through from your ancestors for Samhain in regard to your own path with spirit, your ancestors, and your own divine sovereign self? Let's see. What wants to come through? Oh, these cards do not want to shuffle today. They just want to fly out everywhere. Interesting. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's have a look. So, first two are going under there. Okie dokie. Wow, we've got lots of cards here. So we got the book and birds, which are in this deck. There are three different, I think it's three different types of birds. Chickens being the more sociable, so highly social, plucky, kind of, think of it like that. Okay. Interesting. And we got more birds. So there's lots of communication. So yeah. Okay. So what we've got here with the book, so you got the book, the birds, chickens, yeah. We've got the bear, fox, the lady, the whip, or the broom in this case, in this deck, the ring, and more birds, the owls. Okay. So regarding your connection to spirit and your own divine self, there's definitely, I think that relates to this card, doesn't it? Because it was talking about walking the path with others. And I would say, so this is either walking. Let me just clarify who you're walking with. Is it spirit or is it people? Let's have a look. Just want to clarify that quickly. Let me just clarify who pile number 3 is walking with. Okay. Let's have a look. Intensification. I would say that card is spirit. So this path of connection to your ancestors, spirit, your divine self, your true nature, is definitely this path you're walking with a, what's the collective term for spirits? A bunch of, I don't know, a collection of, a collective of, there we go, a collective of different ancestors that are walking with you on this path. Yeah, on this path of connection with spirit, connection with your true self. Yeah, and there is learning going on here. Yeah, there is learning going on with the book. Yeah, and it's a very social thing going on. So they'll be a bit chatty. Be prepared. They'll be a bit chatty. Okay. Um, Directly underneath the book and the birds, the chickens, is the lady and the broom. So in this context, this is a receptive energy. So you're receptive to this learning. Yeah. And this is interesting. So this is a cycle of clearing as you are walking this path with spirit. So they're helping you to clear stuff. What is it you're clearing? Let's grab a kipper. Not literally. What are you clearing? Okay. Ooh. Clearing stuff in the community. So community. Could be that they're helping you clear out one more card. Actually, let's take one of those. Just want to be clear on that, because I think this is to do with spirit again. There's a lot of spirit going on here. Whoa, there we go. Oh, that's just not, that's interesting. Did you see that? So this card pushed out the bear. So this is the merchant card. Oh, okay. So this is to do with your self-worth. So in this aspect, okay, so there's been something which has been a little bit sneaky and has, I'm going to leave that there, and has been weighing down on you, pushing down on you, almost like I want to say bully, but this could be, because this is a lot about spirit. Could be that you've had some, not particularly nice spirit in your house, maybe in your home. Although I'm not seeing home, but maybe in your community. Interesting. Because it was interesting that your self-worth, came along and pushed that, literally pushed it out of the way. Yeah. And with the fox and the bear together, that definitely suggests to me some kind of, not a nice energy. So this path that you're on, there we go. The connection to spirit, learning, being receptive to that, and clearing out whatever this was, the fox and the bear, your self-worth, literally. It's that thing, isn't it? So in the light, the darkness retreats. Yeah, so that's literally what is happening here. This is interesting because I've experienced that these past few months um, with someone in the community who was, um, I don't know, well, I suppose we called the energy out as Rumpelstiltskin, and it's gone. Literally, self-worth did that. So I'm taking this as my reading actually as well. Oh, number 3 is mine. um, so yeah, what happens then after that has been kicked out, literally, sent to Coventry, if you like, is you make a under the intensification. So you then recommit, yeah, to this journey, connecting with spirit, connecting with your divine self. And in this case, the birds, the owls represent wisdom. You've also got the new moon. So this is a new beginning. This is a new commitment of working with spirit. I like it. Okay. Ooh. So we've got to take a Samhain. I call it Samhain. Samhain Oracle. It's really Halloween Oracle, but you know what I mean. Yeah, let's see. Ooh. The underworld. Oh my goodness. Where all things pause and begin again. This is your new beginning. Right there. And we're going to take one more. It's got the pomegranate there. That's your root chakra. That's your stability, your strength, your security, your self-worth. And we have the red apples here. There we go. Boom. So one more of these cards, please, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you very much. I like this. This is really cool. I like this a lot. It's very nice reading. You're going to give me one more card, please? Just one more. Just one more. It's like, no. Okay. In that case, I'm going to grab Wisdom of Avalon. Just for anything else that you need to know about this particular... Oh, there we go. That's interesting. They flipped. They backflipped. Doing a backflip. We have the bard, music, poetry, myth, history, the enchantment of storytelling. Nice. It's not gonna do it, is it? No. Oh, these cameras are so ridiculous. That says the messages of Avalon. So yeah, this is definitely part of this recommitting to connection with spirit, yeah. And whether you choose to walk the path of the underworld or not, that energy is everywhere, yeah, because we see it in nature, okay. And then we have the cow, nourishment, abundance, asking and receiving. There we go. So this cow, this is Animal Guides of Avalon. So on your journeying, in your learning, you might even come across the white cow, yeah. And that could be an actual cow. or it could be a spirit animal. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. I like this. I like this a lot. So I'm gonna leave this here. If you want to check out one of the other piles or all of the piles, then go ahead. Yeah, I really like this reading. I'm taking this. I'm claiming this as mine. So until next time, thank you for being here, and I'm going to say cheerio. Hello, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. So you chose Aconite. Let's have a look. Death cards in this deck. Quite a stunning card. Very evocative. So I'm going to read what it says in the book. So, the deadly plant known as aconite was at one time called Hecateus and is said to have sprung up where the saliva of Cerberus touched the ground. That's the 3-headed dog. Yeah, that guards the gates of Hades. Death is merely another door to which Hekate holds the key. It is the last great mystery. But death, in a symbolic sense, is hugely transformative. It releases everything that is old and outdated. Wolfsbane is toxic and represents the finality of death, but in the skillful hands of the goddess can be positive. Show caution and tread carefully. There is no turning back on some roads. Okay, let's grab some lenormand cards. In fact, no. Okay. No. Okay, fine. Let's grab some kipper first, apparently. Let's see what we get. So, what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain in terms of death, rebirth, treading your path with caution? Okay, cut them. Great fortune, toil and labour. There. Okay. Thoughts and lovers. So, I would say it's almost like, so this idea of leaving behind the stuff that's old, this is here. This is the great fortune, toil and labour. And what you're moving towards more, the new is more around, pondering the idea of love. And that's not necessarily like a 3D type of love. This is like what we would call love consciousness. You know, your heart center, that phenomenal force which creates everything. Yeah. So the great fortune was obviously connected to um, soul sucking work. Yeah, okay. And it's obviously something that wants to be left behind, because where you're moving forward to, the new is more in the vein of pondering the concepts, the phenomenal power of love consciousness. And that could involve a partner, or it might not. It might be a solo journey for a while. Okay. So let's grab the lenormand cards. I'm allowed to pick them up now. That's bossy sometimes. Okay, so what guidance wants to come through from your ancestors for Samhain in regards to this, what you are leaving behind and what you are moving towards? So we can have a little bit more information on that. That would be great. Oh, lots of cards there. Okay, we'll stop right there. So that's going in the middle. So it came out on its own. We have we've got the dog underneath the death card. We have the moon, the ship, interesting. Clouds, interesting again. We have the stars. Move those up. The stars, the whip, and the cross. Okay. So yeah, what you're leaving behind. First of all, let's talk about the card underneath, the death card, the Aconite card. Yeah. So the dog card, this is to do with loyalty, and I would say this is to do with being loyal to yourself. When you're, you're being, the guidance from your ancestors is definitely to be loyal to yourself as you're walking this journey and releasing all the stuff that is connected to, this soul sucking toil and labor, which comes with a heavy price. Because when you think about it, all the fortune in the world, if you're breaking your back and losing your soul through doing whatever it is that's bringing you great fortune, is it worth it? Especially if you're moving forward through this Aconite card. If you're moving more to a place of love consciousness and you're really pondering that, yeah. I mean, that's not to say you can't take some of that great fortune with you. Don't get me wrong, but it's the back-breaking, soul-sucking toil and labor that maybe that's what's being transformed here. Yeah. So you have the moon, you have the ship, the clouds underneath whatever this is here. Yeah. The soul-sucking. um, so there's definitely a heaviness. There's some doubt and some confusion around how you move forward. Yeah. Once this has been illuminated to you, once this has been uncovered, yeah. So when we go over to the other side, literally, we have the stars, the whip, and the cross. So you could see both of these cards as negative, yeah. But we're coming from this place of, letting go of this stuff here, moving forward to this place. I am really getting the mind engaged, if you like, in a okay. This is connecting. This is heart mind coherence. Duh, duh. Hello, Ange. Heart mind coherence, guys. Okay. Which is the new, yeah. We have the stars, we have the whip, and we have the cross, and we have the be loyal to yourself on this journey. That's basically the message from your ancestors. So in that context, in that frame, I would suggest the cross is the spiritual journey. The whip is the cycle of that spiritual journey, and the stars is your guidance. So you're being guided through a cycle of your spiritual journey, through this heart mind coherence, yeah, and this being loyal to yourself, yeah. So this is quite amazing, actually. So I'm gonna pull. What am I gonna pull? So I'm gonna grab a few different cards. I'm gonna grab maybe a couple from this deck, the Citadel deck, just to get a little bit more clarification on this, because this, okay, we don't really need to, because that's what you're letting go of. So let's not attach to that. So let's see where this is going. Oh, okay. Cool. And we will quite a few there. Okay, we're also going to take some from the Halloween Oracle, because it's just a really nice deck. It's by Stacey DeMarco. That was the mummy card. So I get that card when my dog, who is now in spirit, wants to tell me something, because this is mummy. Mummy. It's so cute. Okay. So let's see what we have. We have the scholar. So that kind of fits with that card there, the thoughts. So this is, doing, and when I say doing the research, yeah, I don't mean reading books on this. I mean going in and researching. Yeah. It's like an inner research, not an outer research. This stuff will not be in books. Your ancestors are will be guiding you. This is their guidance, and they will guide you through this process. Yeah, just need to be receptive to it. The Painter. So you're definitely creating something. This is the cycles of your spiritual journey. There's a creation energy there. Yeah. Now this card, although it says the Miser, this card, to me it looks like someone who feels like they're very isolated, which I can understand. But what I would say, this is kind of hermity. Yeah, it's kind of hermity energy. So when you're in that creative part of your spiritual journey, you might want some time by yourself. I get that. And we have the Gambler. Okay, so this is a bit of a gamble. You could say this is a bit of a gamble. Yeah, because you're leaving behind something which is familiar. Yeah. And then we have eternal love. This is love consciousness. Oh my goodness. And what does it say? It says, love is love is love. And it transcends physical death. So the death of, the back-breaking, soul-sucking toil and labour, which is very physical. Yeah. It's a physical thing, which when you let go of it, it is no more. Yeah. The doubts on how to move forward, once this has been illuminated to you by your ancestors, this is the message. Yeah. Moving through this process, being guided, accepting that, oh yeah, it feels a little bit risky. Yeah. But you're doing your inner research. Yeah. Heart, mind, coherence. You're on your cycle of a spiritual path, because when I say cycle, it's more of a spiral. Yeah, these things are always spirals, always. Yeah. You're being creative. You recognize that you need that time for yourself to be creative and to walk this spiritual path. And then you have, where you get to at the end of it, is this love is love is love, and it transcends physical death. So this physical stuff here, once you let that go and it is no more, you then move forward into this amazing love consciousness energy. And that is amazing. I really like this reading for you, and I hope that you've enjoyed this. The guidance that came through from your ancestors for Samhain was, pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go. If you want to check out any other paths, feel free. Yeah. So hope you've enjoyed this. You know what to do if you have. And yeah, I'm going to leave it here. So I'm going to say cheerio. See you next time.